Sophie?
Mr. Bridgerton, do you need something?
No. I found it.
You hurt me. When do you stop to think about me?
Every moment of every day. I cannot love a maid. And yet, you have taken possession of me.
For beings from opposing worlds, the desire is not the problem, but the world itself.
You've convinced yourself that she is reason enough to risk everything.
Bridgerton Season 4 Part 3 trailer just dropped, and we get the first piece of dialogue between Benedict and Sophie, and it's already heartbreaking. "You did not answer my letter." Followed by Sophie's devastating response, "Because I do not wish to see you." Let's unpack this. The fact that Benedict wrote a letter shows he's already broken protocol. In Regency society, a man of his station writing to a woman of Sophie's station would be scandalous. He's already putting himself on the line, already showing vulnerability. And her response? She's protecting him. She's protecting herself. She's trying to end this before it destroys them both. But here's what's brilliant about this exchange. We can hear the pain in both positions. Benedict is hurt by the rejection, but Sophie isn't rejecting him because she doesn't care. She's rejecting him because she cares too much. She understands the reality of their situation in a way that he, in his privileged position, might not fully grasp yet. This is sophisticated character writing. Neither person is wrong. They're both responding to an impossible situation in the only ways they know how. Benedict wants to fight for what they have. Sophie wants to spare them both the inevitable pain. And we, as the audience, can see both perspectives and understand why this is so complicated. The cinematography in these opening moments is also telling us something. The shots are intimate, close-up, focused on faces and expressions. We're not getting sweeping ballroom vistas. We're getting raw emotion. The production team is signaling that this isn't about spectacle. This is about two people and the very real obstacles between them. Then comes the line that really establishes the central conflict. What do you mean to do? This is the question, isn't it? What is the solution here? In their world, there isn't one. The social structure doesn't allow for a relationship between a gentleman and a maid. There's no acceptable path forward. And yet, the heart doesn't care about social acceptability. Sophie's next line cuts to the core. "Being a mistress is the last thing I want." This is so important. This isn't a romance novel where the heroine is content to be kept as a secret. Sophie has dignity, she has self-respect, and she's refusing to accept a situation that would demean her. She's not asking Benedict to destroy his life for her, but she's also not willing to destroy her own self-worth to be with him. Think about what being a mistress would mean in this context. It would mean being hidden, being ashamed, being treated as less than. It would mean any children would be illegitimate. It would mean a life in the shadows. Sophie is saying she'd rather have nothing than have that. And honestly, that's powerful. That's a woman who knows her worth even when society tells her she has none. Benedict's response is equally revealing. How else am I to be with a woman society's made it impossible for me to be with? Notice the phrasing here. He's not blaming Sophie. He's blaming society. He recognizes that the problem isn't their feelings. It's the system. But recognizing the problem and solving the problem are two very different things. He's desperate, he's frustrated, and he's searching for an answer that might not exist. This is where the tragedy of their situation really hits. If they lived in a different time, a different world, there would be no obstacle. Their love is real, their connection is genuine, but the circumstances are working against them. It's Romeo and Juliet, but instead of feuding families, it's feuding social classes. We then hear encouragement from what sounds like a female voice, possibly Violet or Lady Danbury. "You must be brave. You cannot let fear stop you from letting your heart speak." This advice is beautiful, but it's also complicated. Yes, bravery is important. Yes, love requires courage. But what does bravery look like when the consequences are so severe? Is it brave to risk everything? Or is it foolish? Is it brave to walk away to protect someone you love? These are the questions the trailer is asking us to consider. The next exchange is simple but loaded with meaning. "Sophie, Mr. Bridgerton, do you need something?" No, the formality here is painful. Mr. Bridgerton, not Benedict. The distance in that title, the reminder of their different stations, it's all there in two words. And his question, "Do you need something?" is almost certainly not about practical needs. He's asking if she needs him, if she feels what he feels, if this connection is real for her too. Her no is a lie, and we all know it. She needs him desperately, but admitting that would make everything so much harder. "I found it." This line, delivered with what sounds like shock or realization, suggests a major plot development. What did he find? My theory, and this is speculation based on the overall narrative, is that Benedict has discovered something about Sophie's true identity or background. Perhaps proof that she's not just a maid, but someone of higher birth who's been forced into servitude. Or perhaps he's found evidence of the injustice she's suffered. This discovery could be the key that changes everything. In a society obsessed with lineage and birth, proof of Sophie's parentage could be the difference between an impossible love and a possible one. But it also raises questions. Should love be conditional on social status? Should Sophie need to prove she's worthy to be loved? The next line is absolutely gutting. "You hurt me." Just 3 words, but they carry so much weight. This could be Sophie speaking to Benedict, expressing the pain of their impossible situation. Or it could be Benedict speaking to Sophie about her attempts to push him away. Either way, it's an acknowledgement that love, when it can't be fully realized, causes pain. Sometimes the people we love the most are the ones who hurt us deepest, not through cruelty, but through circumstances. And then comes one of the most romantic lines in the entire trailer. "When do you stop to think about me? Every moment of every day." This is the confession we've been waiting for. This is Benedict admitting that Sophie has completely consumed his thoughts, his heart, his entire existence. He's not just infatuated, he's fundamentally changed by knowing her. She's not a passing fancy or a momentary desire. She's become essential to him. The tragedy is that this confession, which should be beautiful and welcome, is happening in a context where it can't lead to happiness. Loving someone every moment of every day should be wonderful. But when that love has no future, it becomes torture. Now we get to what might be the most painful line in the entire trailer. "I cannot love a maid." This is Benedict's internal struggle made external. He's been raised with certain beliefs, certain expectations, certain prejudices, and even though he loves Sophie, even though he knows in his heart that class distinctions are arbitrary, he's still fighting against his conditioning. This is honest character writing, showing that good people can still struggle with internalized biases. But immediately following this, we get, "And yet, you have taken possession of me." The "and yet" is crucial. He's saying, I know what I'm supposed to think, I know what I'm supposed to feel, but it doesn't matter because what I actually feel overrides everything else. Sophie hasn't just captured his heart, she's possessed his entire being. The language is almost supernatural, suggesting a force beyond his control. This internal conflict is what makes Benedict such a compelling character in this arc. He's not a perfect hero who instantly rejects all social prejudice. He's a real person, shaped by his upbringing, fighting against his own conditioning because his love for Sophie is stronger than everything he's been taught. The narrator's voice returns. "For beings from opposing worlds, the desire is not the problem, but the world itself." This line perfectly articulates the central tragedy. There's nothing wrong with their love. There's nothing wrong with their desire. The problem is external. It's the rigid social structure, the class system, the rules and expectations that govern their world. They're not fighting each other, they're fighting the entire social order. This also speaks to why this story resonates beyond just being a period romance. How many people today love someone their family doesn't approve of? How many people face obstacles to love based on race, religion, economic status, or other factors? The specifics change, but the fundamental conflict, love versus social acceptance, is timeless. You've convinced yourself that she is reason enough to risk everything. This line, likely from Anthony or another family member, raises the central question. Is love worth risking everything for? Your family, your reputation, your security, your place in society? From Benedict's perspective, the answer is becoming increasingly clear. Yes, Sophie is worth it. But this isn't a decision made lightly, and the trailer is showing us that he understands the magnitude of what he's considering. Then we get Sophie's powerful declaration. We're not born simply to work and die. This is revolutionary thinking for the time period. Sophie is rejecting the idea that her worth is determined by her labor, that her entire existence should be defined by servitude. She's claiming her humanity, her right to dreams, to love, to a life beyond mere survival. This is a woman finding her voice and refusing to be diminished. In the context of the broader narrative, this line is also a critique of the entire class system. Why should some people be born to luxury and leisure, while others are born to endless toil? It's a question that the aristocratic characters have probably never even considered, but Sophie lives with this reality every single day. The next question lands like a punch. You are in love, are you not? The directness of this question forces acknowledgement. There's no dancing around it anymore. No pretending this is just attraction or infatuation. This is love, real and undeniable. And once you acknowledge love, you have to decide what you're going to do about it. Then comes perhaps the most devastating line in terms of stakes. There is one sacrifice you will have to make: your family. This is the price. This is what choosing Sophie will cost Benedict. In their world, family isn't just personal relationships. It's identity, security, social standing. Being cut off from the Bridgertons would mean losing everything he's ever known. But here's what makes this so complicated. The Bridgertons aren't villains. They love Benedict. They want him to be happy. But they're also products of their time, concerned about reputation and social standing. The conflict isn't between good and evil. It's between love and duty, between personal happiness and family loyalty. The philosophical question posed by the narrator is profound. What is love in the face of society? This question has layers. On one level, it's asking, what power does love have when society is against it? Can love survive social condemnation? On another level, it's asking, what should we prioritize? Love or social acceptance? Different people will answer this differently, and that's what makes it such a compelling question. Some would say society's approval doesn't matter if you have love. Others would say you can't be happy if you're completely ostracized. There's no easy answer. Benedict's response is passionate and definitive. I've had quite enough of the demands of society. This is his breaking point. He's done performing, done conforming, done sacrificing his happiness for appearances. This is Benedict choosing authenticity over acceptability. It's a powerful moment of character growth. He's finally prioritizing his own heart over everyone else's expectations. But declarations are one thing, actions are another. Saying you don't care about society's demands is easier than actually living with the consequences of defying them. The trailer's final line brings it all together. Whatever you choose, you must live with it forever. This is the ultimate truth. Whatever decision Benedict and Sophie make, whether they choose to be together despite the obstacles or choose to walk away to avoid the consequences, they will carry that choice for the rest of their lives. There's no going back. There's no undoing it. This raises the question for viewers. What would you do? If you were in their position, what would you choose? Security and family approval, or love and possible exile? It's easy to say, choose love, when you're not the one facing the consequences. Based on the intensity of the dialogue, we can infer that the visual storytelling in this trailer must be equally powerful. Bridgerton has always excelled at using cinematography to enhance emotional storytelling, and Part 3 seems to be taking this to new heights. The trailer likely employs close-up shots during the most emotionally intense moments, when Benedict and Sophie are confronting their feelings, when difficult truths are being spoken, when hearts are breaking. These intimate framings force us to see every micro-expression, every tear, every moment of pain or longing. There's probably also a strong use of contrast, bright, opulent ballroom scenes representing the world of society and expectation, juxtaposed with darker, more intimate spaces where Benedict and Sophie can be honest with each other. This visual contrast reinforces the thematic contrast between public performance and private truth. The lighting is likely doing significant work as well. Warm, golden light for moments of genuine connection between our leads. Cooler, harsher light for scenes dealing with social judgment and family conflict. Light and shadow representing the contrast between love and duty, between desire and propriety. Color symbolism is probably also at play. Sophie might be shown in more muted, earthier tones when in her servant role, contrasting with richer colors when she's able to be herself. Benedict might undergo a similar visual transformation, his clothing becoming less rigidly formal as he embraces authenticity. The editing rhythm in a trailer like this is crucial. Quick cuts during moments of conflict and tension, longer takes during intimate emotional beats. The The pacing of the cuts tells us as much as the dialogue about what's happening emotionally. Let's dive deep into what this trailer reveals about Benedict's character development. Benedict has always been positioned as the artistic, sensitive Bridgerton, the one who doesn't quite fit the aristocratic mold. But what this trailer shows is that he's finally reached the point where he's willing to actually do something about that disconnect. He's not just quietly pursuing art on the side while conforming to family expectations. He's choosing to actively reject those expectations. His journey in this part seems to be about the cost of authenticity. It's easy to want to be yourself. It's much harder to be yourself when it means losing everything else. Benedict is learning that freedom comes with a price, and he's being forced to decide if he's willing to pay it. What makes Benedict compelling as a protagonist is that he's not perfect. He admits, "I cannot love a maid," showing that even he, sympathetic as he is, has internalized classist prejudices. But his character growth is in recognizing those prejudices and choosing love anyway. It's not that he instantly becomes enlightened about class equality, it's that his love for Sophie is powerful enough to make him question everything he's been taught. His desperation is palpable throughout the trailer. How else am I to be with a woman society's made it impossible for me to be with? This isn't a man casually interested in a woman. This is someone who has tried every option, explored every possibility, and keeps hitting walls. His frustration isn't just with Sophie or with his family, it's with the entire social system. The evolution we're likely seeing is Benedict moving from someone who wants to have his cake and eat it too, maintain his social position while also pursuing his true desires, to someone who realizes he has to choose. And increasingly, he's choosing love over status. That's a profound character transformation. Sophie's character development in this trailer is equally powerful, perhaps even more so because she's starting from a position of less power. "Being a mistress is the last thing I want." This line establishes Sophie as a woman who refuses to compromise her dignity. In her position, poor, powerless, dependent on the goodwill of others for survival, it would be understandable if she accepted whatever relationship Benedict could offer. But she won't. She values herself too much. This isn't pride or stubbornness. This is self-preservation. Sophie knows that accepting a position as a mistress would mean accepting a lifetime of shame, hiding, and uncertainty. It would mean bearing children who would be scorned by society. It would mean watching Benedict eventually marry someone of his own class while she remained in the shadows. She's refusing that future not because she doesn't love him, but because she does, enough to spare both of them that pain. We're not born simply to work and die. This is Sophie claiming her humanity in the most fundamental way. She's rejecting the narrative that her life is worth less because of her social position. She's asserting that she deserves happiness, love, and dignity just as much as anyone born to privilege. What's remarkable about Sophie as a character is her strength in the face of impossible circumstances. She could be bitter, angry, resentful. Instead, she's principled. She knows what she deserves, and she won't settle for less, even when settling might be easier. Her choice to say, "Because I do not wish to see you," when asked why she didn't respond to Benedict's letter, shows incredible strength. She's protecting them both from prolonging the inevitable pain. It would be so easy to keep seeing him, to keep hoping, to cling to whatever moments they could steal. But she's clear-eyed enough to know that would only make the eventual separation more agonizing. The reason this storyline is so much more powerful than a typical romance is because of the thematic depth. This isn't just will they or won't they, this is should they, and at what cost. The class commentary is unflinching. The trailer is showing us that the Regency class system wasn't just about having more or less money. It was about considering some human beings as fundamentally less valuable than others. Sophie isn't just poor. She's considered categorically beneath Benedict in terms of human worth. That's the evil of the class system, and the trailer isn't shying away from it. But the show is also acknowledging that dismantling internalized classism isn't instant or easy. Benedict's admission that he cannot love a maid is honest about how deep this conditioning goes. Even good people, even people in love, struggle with the prejudices they've been raised with. The growth is in recognizing and fighting those prejudices. The theme of choice is central. Both Benedict and Sophie are being forced to make active choices, rather than just letting circumstances dictate their lives. Benedict has to choose between family approval and personal happiness. Sophie has to choose between accepting crumbs of affection or demanding full respect. These choices define who they are as people. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more updates. Thanks!